6 years after Obsidian's offbeat sci-fi RPG charmed players with its satirical wit and morally grey world, The Outer Worlds 2 is finally set to launch, and it's a reinvention of everything that made the original special. This time, Obsidian isn't held back by old hardware or creative compromises. With new technology, refined RPG systems, and a darker, more mature tone, The Outer Worlds 2 looks ready to transcend its predecessor. From faction politics and combat diversity to new environments, hazards, and next-gen enhancements, here are 10 essential things you should know before setting foot on Arcadia. Built for modern hardware. Unlike its predecessor, which was cross-generational, The Outer Worlds 2 embraces next-gen exclusivity. Designed purely for Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5, and PC, it's free from the shackles of older consoles. Obsidian has implemented ultra-sharp textures, real-time global illumination, and enhanced particle effects that bring Arcadia's alien landscapes to life. Running at a smooth 60 frames per second, with drastically reduced loading times, the sequel feels fluid and cinematic from moment one. Every environment bursts with detail. Colourful colonies, oxygen-drained mining outposts, and corporate propaganda walls rendered in exaggerated retro-futuristic art. NPCs move more realistically. Conversations transition seamlessly, and light reacts dynamically to armour and weapon surfaces. This technical boost is a creative one. Obsidian wanted emotional depth to match visual fidelity, ensuring that modern hardware doesn't just power prettier explosions, but deeper immersion. By targeting only new systems, The Outer Worlds 2 finally plays as good as it looks. A darker tonal shift. The first Outer Worlds mocked unchecked capitalism through wry humour and pastel absurdity. The sequel retains the satire, but infuses it with something more sinister. Arcadia's corporations aren't merely incompetent, they're predatory, manipulative, and desperate to maintain power. As players navigate this colony, they'll feel the bite of moral decay more sharply. The tone oscillates between cynical humour and disturbing reality. You might laugh at an ad for oxygen subscription plans one moment, then stumble upon a settlement suffocating because it couldn't pay. Obsidian has described this tonal direction as corporate horror wrapped in comedy, reflecting a world too close to our own. The developers intentionally traded the cartoonish brightness of Halcyon for a bleaker, harsher palette. Every choice feels heavier, every betrayal more personal. And beneath the sharp writing lies an atmosphere of tension, proof that The Outer Worlds 2 aims to make you think as much as it makes you laugh. Complex faction dynamics. Forget good versus evil. Arcadia is home to 3 major power blocks, each ideologically flawed, each desperate to control what's left of the colony. You can align, betray, or manipulate them all. None of these factions are the right choice, and that's precisely the point. Obsidian gives you agency, but not clean morality. Your allegiances ripple through society. Factories rise or fall, colonies rebel, and entire regions change allegiances based on your diplomacy or sabotage. The result is a political sandbox where cause and effect intertwine. Perhaps your actions make you a hero to one settlement, but a terrorist to another. Perhaps siding with one faction exposes you to a rival's espionage plot. Every mission feels like a layered decision tree, demanding forethought. This moral greyness is Obsidian at its finest, messy, unpredictable, and deeply human. In The Outer Worlds 2, power is about survival more than right or wrong. Decisions have real consequences. Player choice was always central to The Outer Worlds, but the sequel magnifies it across every system. Dialogue, combat, and even environmental reactions now feed into a unified consequence engine. A decision you make in one region may trigger a chain reaction hours later. changing how factions treat you, how traders price goods, or how entire cities evolve. Obsidian calls this reactive world layering. It's more than branching dialogue, it's adaptive world building. Morale fluctuates in settlements, faction borders shift dynamically, and personal reputation can influence global politics. Even non-player characters remember subtle lies or unfulfilled promises. This doesn't just make the Outer Worlds 2 more immersive, but makes every playthrough unpredictable. The narrative is alive, reshaping itself in response to who you become. The sequel's motto might as well be, "You can't please everyone," and that's the point. Replayability through restriction. In a surprising design twist, The Outer World 2 removes the ability to respec your character. Every trait, perk, and skill you select at creation is final. At first glance, it's punishing, but it's also genius. By forcing commitment, Obsidian transforms every build into a unique narrative experience. Do you specialize in dialogue to charm your way through the colony, or double down on science to manipulate alien fauna? Each choice locks you into a role, demanding careful planning and creative adaptation. Mistakes aren't punishments, they're character-defining moments. This permanence fuels replayability. You're encouraged to experiment with wildly different playstyles: stealth diplomat, deranged brute, clueless engineer, and see how Arcadia bends around your personality. Obsidian's message is clear: perfection is boring. Evolved combat systems. Combat in the original Outer Worlds was serviceable but rarely exciting. That changes here. Obsidian rebuilt the gunplay and encounter design from the ground up. Firearms now feel weightier, melee combat is more responsive, and stealth finally works as a full-fledged playstyle rather than an afterthought. Each zone offers multiple tactical approaches. You can storm a facility, guns blazing, or slip through vents, disable turrets, and reprogram drones. Enemies now have distinct AI archetypes: flankers, chargers, disruptors, forcing adaptability mid-fight. Obsidian's designers studied the likes of Dishonored and Deus Ex to create multi-solution combat arenas. Layered atop this are environmental elements like destructible cover, elemental hazards, and interactive gadgets. And because the game's choice system extends into battle, how you resolve a fight can reshape dialogue options afterward. For the first time, every bullet or avoided confrontation matters narratively, not just mechanically. Non-lethal and absurd playstyles. If you've ever wanted to talk your way out of every situation, The Outer Worlds 2 lets you. Obsidian proudly supports pacifist and offbeat runs, from full diplomacy builds to complete idiocy, builds where low intelligence unlocks hilarious dialogue. Every quest now recognizes unconventional problem solving. Persuade your enemies, sneak past them, or trick entire factions with forged data. Your character can be an eloquent manipulator, a corporate spy, or a blundering fool who accidentally starts revolutions. Non-lethal combat tools, shock grenades, tranquilizer darts, sleep gas, offer alternatives to bloodshed. NPCs remember whether you spared them, creating new alliances or grudges later on. This breadth of freedom shows Obsidian's trust in player creativity. The message is simple: play how you want, no matter how weird that is. Arcadia's environmental hazards. Arcadia is physically hostile. Players must navigate a planet teeming with hazards, from interdimensional rifts that disintegrate careless explorers to toxic industrial runoff that poisons air filters. Weather and environmental systems now influence exploration. Radiation storms can cripple power armor. Oxygen depletion becomes a constant threat in sealed domes. Obsidian uses these systems to merge narrative and survival. Corporations neglect safety measures to cut costs, leaving players to suffer the consequences. Wildlife is another challenge. Mutated fauna, adapted to corporate pollution, roam the wilderness, attacking anything that moves. One creature, the Phase Hound, can teleport short distances, making stealth encounters especially tense. The unpredictability of these biomes ensures exploration is thrilling but deadly. Arcadia demands respect. It's a world that fights back. Seamless cinematic presentation. With a larger budget and improved tools, The Outer Worlds 2 finally embraces cinematic storytelling. Gone are static conversations and constant load screens. The game now uses dynamic, in-engine cutscenes with expressive facial animation, camera pans, and fluid transitions. Walking into a building no longer triggers a pause. Interiors flow directly from the overworld. This seamlessness enhances immersion, letting players feel part of an ongoing universe rather than hopping between disconnected zones. The result is a presentation that feels premium without losing Obsidian's quirky charm. Every questline feels authored, every moment framed for emotional resonance. It's not about mimicking Hollywood, it's about ensuring every choice feels consequential on a visual and narrative level. Release, price, and accessibility. The Outer Worlds 2 launches October 29, 2025 for Xbox Series XS, PlayStation 5 and PC. It'll be available day one on Game Pass, an instant win for subscribers. Pre-orders unlock Commander Zane's anti-monopolistic battle pack, featuring unique weapons, armor, and an adorable drone companion. After early controversy over its $80 price tag, Microsoft reduced the cost to $70, aligning with industry norms. A premium edition at $99.99 adds early access, art book, soundtrack, and 2 future DLCs. PC players will need a Ryzen 5 2600, i5-8400 or higher, with a recommended RTX 3080 or RX 6800 XT to hit max settings. Storage demands 110 GB, reflecting the sheer size and fidelity of Arcadia. Whether you're on console or PC, it's optimized to impress. The Outer Worlds 2 is Obsidian, finally realizing its original vision without compromise. It's smarter, darker, and bolder, where every decision feels deliberate and every consequence has teeth. From its no-respec character system to its reimagined combat and reactive factions, it's the kind of RPG that thrives on imperfection and curiosity. Whether you plan to talk, shoot, or sneak your way through Arcadia, one thing's certain. The Outer Worlds 2 will make you question what it really means to have choices, and how far you're willing to go when the cosmos pushes back.